No, we just misunderstood. That's all.
You're old.
Welcome to tonight's show. You're with Tom, Brian and Steve, and this is from the Sidelines. And as we do every time this week, we're going to talk about the round of NRL that's just been played. Gentlemen, how are you?
Fantastic. What a great round of footy. It was awesome. I'm happy.
Because you won.
Oh, it was a great round of footy. I'm happy. I had a great weekend. I had a great weekend. This is Tuesday. Don't bring me down.
Tom, you well?
Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah, good. Okay, highlights, gentlemen, of the weekend.
Ooh. Geez, I tell you, that Roosters Storm game was pretty good. No disrespect to the Roosters. It was a good game of footy. I thought Fa'alongo, when he came on, 10 minutes, you come on for 10 minutes, you put on the biggest hit of the game, that's been a game of big hits, and then you score a try. Whew.
Which was pretty clever at the end.
And let me just tell you, I'm having a look at their team this week, and if Munster does manage to come back, he's the guy who drops off.
Yeah, I know.
Jason Rolls, you sure you can't pinch a player to go to Parramatta?
I'm sure he's trying. Tom, your highlight for the weekend?
I think Cleary back. As much as I like to talk about Penrith, you've got to give credit where credit's due.
Yeah. Actually, that was a pretty good one.
10 weeks off, and he had a blinder. Although he did miss a field goal.
Yeah, and he did nail one too.
Yeah.
He did nail one that I didn't think he was gonna.
Yeah.
Well, interesting, because the early one was a little bit easier.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a big kick.
All right. I would actually, before we get started, I want your opinions on the next immortal. Now, this is a question without notice, I realise that. But I was thinking about it today, and I'd like to know who you think should be the next immortal. Number of names are going around.
Yep.
Cameron Smith, Billy Slater, Brett Kenny, Peter Sterling, Ron Coote. But a lot of people seem to be voting for more recent players like Cameron Smiths and Slaters and so forth.
Well, that's why it's not up. Yeah, it's a good thing it's not up to the popular vote.
Well, no, but they have changed the rules, so you only have to now be out of the game for 3 years, not 5.
Yeah, I don't. I think it's lost. When they had the 4 for such a long time, and then they didn't do anything about it, and then and I don't mean this in any way disrespectful, because I think Andrew Johns is still probably the best player personally that I've seen.
Yeah.
But that he's made an immortal while he's still got media commitments and all of that's happening, I think it kind of ruined the process. Of those, but in saying that, of those players that you listed, I'd go. I don't want to say Ron Coote because was before my time, but Peter Sterling was a sensational halfback.
Yeah.
Peter Sterling was, and a great commentator who never ever once gave the game a black eye.
Yeah.
So if I would go him. And I know a lot of people say Kenny because he outplayed Wally Lewis in Origin, but he didn't have the impact that Wally Lewis had either. So I'd go Sterling.
I think Parramatta fans would disagree with you, but go on. Tom, who would you go?
Well, I'm personally starting to wonder whether the whole debate about it is just taking the shine off Immortals in general, and whether it was a good idea in the first place, or whether they should have just stuck with the 4 and stayed with that really. But if you're pushing me on it, I would probably think Ron Coote. I think we got to move on, and I think he'll get left behind otherwise. I mean, the same thing happened with Norm Provan.
Yeah.
They didn't catch up last time. I think Ron Coote probably, and yeah.
Yeah. And what are your thoughts, Steve?
I'm leaning to the older players. I think that Cameron Smith and those players, their time will come. But I think Ron Coote is the one for me. I don't mind the idea of Brett Kenny. I really don't. I actually don't even mind putting Ray Price into it. I think Ray Price was an exceptional player.
I wasn't around when they were playing, but I know I've seen Sterling play, and he was incredible. Yeah.
So, I think it needs to be Ron Coote.
So there you go. So therefore, all those listeners out there who think I'm an anti-Parramatta, I'm suggesting a Parramatta player be the next immortal. What do you think of that? What do you think of that, Stephen? Janelle? What? There you go.
But not Mitchell Moses.
Not Mitchell Moses.
So 20 seconds of concession.
That's right.
And a lifetime of vengeance.
I'm just saying, I'm unbiased, okay?
All right, let's go on to the first round, which was played on Friday night, which is Canberra Raiders 20, Warriors 18. and the Warriors have absolutely fallen off a cliff.
Because you picked them to win the grand final.
Yes, okay, I'll concede that.
Fogarty back made a big difference. You can't really underrate a good halfback, can you? I mean, and he's not even fantastic. He's just a good, solid halfback.
Yeah.
But Hudson Young and Hoskins back made a big difference to their team.
Goal kicking let them down.
Well, it was four tries to 3. The losing side scored more tries.
Yeah.
And look, I got a feel for Harris Tavita. I mean, he had an absolute Barry Crocker.
He went into the sheds after the game.
You would feel like digging yourself a hole. I feel desperately sorry, and I hope he's got a lot of good people around him, seriously, because it was awful.
Yes.
You know. And Pompey went down injured, but he would be your normal kicker. He's very accurate, Adam Pompey. But anyway.
Yep. I don't know what else to say. It was a good game of footy. I enjoyed it. But jeez, if you're a goal kicker, they keep saying, "Oh, you live for these moments," and you see the ball and it's through just shaving the upright. To have such a shocking kick, and there
was two,
especially the one in front, almost in front.
And I agree with Tom. Like we give these blokes a hard time sometimes. They're people who we don't know, but we know Tavita Harris took a year off last year to take a break from league.
Yep.
He's a talent.
Oh,
I just hope this doesn't break him.
Oh, if it hasn't already.
There you go.
All right, let's go on to Industry Group Stadium where the Rabbitohs 42 beat the Tigers 28. Now here's a lesson in goal kicking. So
from the man you least expect.
From the man you least expected. So last week against the Dolphins, the Bunnies had a shocker with goal kicking that could have won them, or at least drawn them the game.
Yep.
And yet now they come out with Damien Cook, who was kicking them from everywhere.
Shane Flanagan must be licking his lips.
Yeah.
He's losing Lomax, he's getting Cook.
Yeah, boy, will he play him in the centres? I mean,
dear.
you got. It's funny, isn't it? Last year, Cook was thrown into the centres in State of Origin, and had a bit of a shocker, and everyone was on about how bad it was and what a silly decision. And now he's played in the centres a few times for South and has actually played well.
Yeah, there's a big difference between playing the Tigers and playing Queensland.
Little bit.
Yeah. I don't know. I look.
This was not a defensive game.
Yeah, it wasn't a particularly great game. Jai Gray was dynamic. You know what? He's got a couple of mistakes, and he's not brilliant, but he does everything at speed.
Yeah.
Everything at speed. And that just creates your opportunities for everyone else.
Yeah.
So I think, look, I'm no lover of Souths, but I don't understand if Latrell comes back, Jai Gray, like imagine Jai Gray making a break out on Latrell's side, and
when he was in centre,
palming it off to Latrell. That's going to...
Or vice versa. Latrell makes the break and just passes off to the
It's going to be a nightmare if that's the combo.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Tigers young guys, Galvin, new fella De Silva had met, and Dream Buller I thought had pretty good games.
Yes. De Silva I thought played very well.
Yeah. I hadn't even heard of him. I don't know if I'd seen him play before.
Yeah.
He was good.
And one of the Fanu brothers, Fionu, they're all good.
Yeah, I think all the young blokes still making a few errors. I think they're growing. They're growing into the game.
So it was not a defensive game, but I thought the Tigers young guns stood up.
Yeah, look, the future looks bright if they can keep them.
Yeah, the downside for the Tigers is the amount of times they dropped the ball in their 20 and 30, and I think from a couple of those South scored.
Yeah,
but it wasn't a very even the Bunnies
and another sin bin.
Yeah. Which I'm not sure was justified, to be honest with you.
Well, he got 2 weeks, so maybe it was justified.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I personally didn't think it was a sin bin, but...
I thought it was... I didn't think it was a hip drop. I thought it was more a Cumberland throw or that he was trying because he wrapped his legs around him.
As I said before, he lost his legs and he landed on his ankles. What else do you need for it to be called a hip drop, honestly? That to me, that's the epitome of.
But if he got up uninjured, would it still be an hip drop?
Well, if you land on his ankle, it's not about intent, and it's not about the result.
But how many players are now staying down because they're feeling pressure on their ankle?
I just thought it was momentum. Like if it was a smaller player, he would have rocked him, and it wouldn't have gone backwards. I think it was just unfortunate, and it's certainly not worth 2 weeks.
That may be correct, but the point is, they say yes, I know he was falling, and but it's contact with the head, so it's the same rule. Landed on his ankle.
Trust me, that's another dumb rule I'd change.
Well, they need to be consistent on it. Oh, sorry, I said the C word.
Consistent. Yes, thank you. Broncos 30, Newcastle 14.
Wow.
Another team, Newcastle.
What a difference!
Yeah.
That young little halfback makes.
But I reckon in this game.
What's his name again? No, don't worry about it.
Don't know. Adam.
Adamsley.
I think the Tigers or Souths would have beaten either of these teams. I thought this game was atrocious. It was terrible. There were mistakes galore. You're right, that young halfback's kicking game kept the winners in the game.
It just allows everybody to do their job, whereas before, like in the last few weeks, Mam's been trying to fill in. Welsh has been trying to take up the slack.
Yep.
But you put Reynolds in there, and he just says, "Right, boys, follow me."
What did he? I heard that he said before this game to Reece Walsh, just pick your time, take your chances when they come. Don't be in everything.
Yeah.
And Reece Walsh probably had his best game of the season
because he didn't have to feel like he had to win the game for him. That's what's happened. And there's rumblings of discontent within the Knights ranks.
Okay.
Apparently I think Buzz said last night that they've hired Peter O'Sullivan, who's touted as a great recruitment officer, and he's been tapping players on the shoulder, and they're taking it out on the coach. That is the rumour going around.
Well, they all played for the coach last year. If you remember, they were about to sack him, and then they all turned it around and made it to the semis. So they can't now say it's the coach who's not doing it.
Yeah, but they're in salary cap trouble as well. That's why they're tapping Saifidi and Hetherington and Brayley and saying, see ya, find it on the club.
Yeah. All right, let's go on to Amy Park. Melbourne Storm 24, Roosters 8. I want to bring up a particular issue in this game. Suwali's this tackle on Suwali, where he nearly landed on his head.
Yeah.
Can I suggest that if you jump into a tackle like that, it's your responsibility? If he was on the ground, that wouldn't have happened. But because he jumped high and he tackled, I'm blaming him. Yes, 100%. And I want to remind you that both of you used to blame Inglis for almost the same thing.
That's ancient history. I can't.
Well, hang on.
I don't even remember that either.
No, you don't. Of course you don't.
His job is to defend the ball, and if he has to leap to get above the other players, then that's what he does. The fact that the guy,
but it wasn't a kick. It wasn't a kick. It was a pass.
It was a bad pass.
It was a bad pass that went high. He jumped high, and the guy when he to tackle him, he went over his head. Yes. Okay. That is not a head high tackle. That is not a dangerous tackle. It should not be penalised at all.
Can I just say though? Earlier this year, the same thing happened with Manly and Ruben Garrick off a kick, and there was no penalty, no nothing, and Garrick was taken off.
Yeah,
it was like an injury.
Yes.
There's that word again.
The C word.
The C word. Consistency.
Luckily, it
doesn't
more
exist.
Than 4 letters. Okay.
Yeah, that's right. Anyway, okay. I just wanted to have a whinge about that because it annoys me that the refs are so blinded by, he landed on his head, that they don't look at the reason why it happened.
No.
And I think you have to. I really do.
That's the same as...
Even give it a penalty, but why penalise him later?
We've been talking about that, though, when, where's... like, Suwali's hit on Reece Walsh during the State of Origin.
Oh, that was totally different.
Well, no, because they're saying now that the attacking player and the defending player need to cooperate. So you've got to bend your back, you've got to, not use your arms, you've got to wrap. Well, that's right. Like there's a series there's a series of circumstances that lead to that.
Yes.
Same. There's a series of circumstances that lead to it, but they've got to get out of their mind that every time a player goes up or comes down hard, there's a set of circumstances that dictate that.
Yeah.
That's the same as the high shots. If a player is slipping, and I saw Adam Fanoa-Blake playing for the Warriors and hit a bloke who was 3 foot off the ground because they both slipped.
Yeah.
Hit him in the head, gentle as, barely knocked the sweat off his forehead.
Yeah.
Get binned. Like, what other circumstances do you need?
That's right.
And so that's the same here. There's circumstances that should dictate.
Yeah.
There's no common sense.
No.
Anyway, I've had my whinge.
Okay.
Tom, the game.
Sure. Yes. Oh, it was awful. I mean, from the
It
very
was
first.
a good game.
Oh yeah, it was a good game. Well, it was hard for me to see it as a good game because I my team just underperformed. And that's not to take anything away from the Storm. I think I reiterate again that I think that over the last 20, how many years has he been coaching? Craig Bellamy. He's had some
24 or
superstars come and go. There's no doubt about that in the early years, but he to me is the best coach going around, and maybe the best coach ever personally, because of his ability to mould a team from seemingly nothing, and to make them perform. I mean, Grant Anderson has come out of nowhere. Scored 2 tries against us on debut. Scored another 2 and could have scored a third, and was everywhere. And some of the names that you reel off and you think, oh,
Yeah.
I've heard of
Sean
those
Bloor is the one for me who's stands out.
Yeah.
But see, this is where I think it's not necessarily Bellamy. All right. But no. Look, so Jack Howarth scored.
Yeah.
All right. He was a dead set sensation in the junior grades, a sensational player for the under 18s, 19s rep teams.
Yep.
Like he had multiple clubs fighting for his signature. It's not as though he's no one.
No, of course not. But
Nick Meaney. Everyone says Nick Meaney. Nick Meaney, mate, when he was leaving the Dogs, mate, I was begging my club to sign him.
Nick Meaney is playing better now than he was at the Dogs.
I'm not suggesting he's not. The thing
Bellamy has brought out the best in him.
The thing that Bellamy does best is say, "This is your job. This is what you do," and I think that's what a lot of coaches don't do.
But maybe he also has some. He can see what's in players that other coaches and development offers can't see.
Well, I was going to say Sean Bloor. I think all of our clubs are after Sean Bloor as well. Like, I think
Stefano's down there now being interviewed.
Well, that's right. And I know you said no to Stefano if you were over it
for that sort of money. Yeah,
I'm going in a heartbeat. So I guess it depends on. Well, he's got to want to be there.
Yeah.
And I do admit with Jack Howarth, he said, he could have played first grade his first year down here, and his second, and his third.
Yeah.
But he's held him back till he was ready.
But I think that's the maturity of the coach, and that's why I think he's an excellent coach. I hate Melbourne with a passion, but I've got to give it to Craig Bellamy for what he does, and it was magnified here because from the very first three tackles, they just pushed us back. And conversely, we couldn't get any field position. I don't know how many tackles we had within the 20. There weren't many. There weren't many at all. We didn't get many opportunities in their 20. You make your own luck. And I'm not going to complain. I'm not complaining about anything that the Storm did wrong. I'm just simply saying that every time the ball bounced, it seemed to bounce in the Storm's direction. Like there was a kick from... we finally got a bit of a break down the side. And Dom Young kicks the ball. Now, Sam Walker's running this way. Pappenhausen's running this way. The ball bounces, and instead of bouncing that way, it bounced this way.
Straight
towards Pappenhausen.
Yeah.
He did drop it. But I mean, there was a whole lot of that sort of stuff seemingly happening, and it just compounded the frustration. So, look, we haven't beaten the Storm in forever, and it's really frustrating, and I think we came down with really a lot of hopes. I don't think that's our season doomed in any way.
No.
I think they need to learn some lessons, but they were also pretty flat. I mean, they had 4 or 5 Origin players backing up.
Yeah,
it was frustrating, but the Storm were very good.
Yeah, and Young had a very average game.
Oh yeah, he got found out a couple of times.
Yeah.
So he's going to have to work on that. But we didn't get any attacking prowess because we couldn't get downfield. And Walker had a quiet game. Keary had a reasonable game given what he had to play with. Teddy was well contained. The forwards didn't get much go forward, and I hope they bring Spencer on the starting side this week.
Hey Tom, 2 sin bins.
I know.
How dumb are your players?
Well, did you see Radley? He's coming off going,
Yeah.
you idiot. I shouldn't have done that.
And, we quite
the
often
same thing
think...
happened with Connor Watson wouldn't do that in a heartbeat. He was fatigued.
I don't know what
He
the
was
hell's
desperate.
going on.
Well, that Radley tackle, we usually say that some of the late tackles are a little bit over the top but that was late.
Well, he was
Honestly,
running,
he was going
fast.
out dinner.
The ball had
That was
got rid
so
of. The ball had been gotten rid of, and he could have just tried to bypass the guy. I guess he thought, well, I'm going to impact. I'll just let it happen. I think that's what he did, and it was stupid. And you could see he regretted it. And I'm glad that he thought he was an idiot because he was.
Yeah.
Yep.
But look, you can't beat Storm with playing 60 minutes with 20 minutes with 12 people.
No.
Yeah. Yeah. So now so Robbo knows now knows how Benji feels.
All right, let's move on to Panthers 28, Dolphins 26.
Wow.
And a cracker of a 2-point field goal.
Well,
It was.
And the Dolphins got to 26-12.
Yeah.
And
They should have run away
playing
with
some
this.
good footy.
Yeah.
But the Panthers just find ways. They just do. I mean, there was a point there where I think Leota was given the ball about 5 out. He's standing there going, well, what do I do now? Oh, I'll just barge over them. And he did. And he did.
I know. He stepped left, he stepped right, and he goes, oh, well, might as well keep going. That was... And Nathan Cleary, you're right. We mentioned it earlier. Nathan Cleary, in his comeback game, was sensational.
Yeah. So that was an hour into the game. They were well ahead 26-12. And then they let them back in.
Yeah. I think it was 12 all at one point, and then the second half they put on some points.
But I'm saying Penrith owned the last 20 minutes.
Oh yeah, and it's just dark signs for the rest of the competition. Honestly,
I don't know. I think Melbourne and Penrith to me are the two teams. Mm-hmm. Now the Warriors are gone.
Well, certainly the way it looks at this point in time, yes.
The bunnies are gone.
I live in hope.
Yes, they were very, very good.
To me, that's the two. All right. Manly 38, Gold Coast 8. And honestly, I thought after 10 minutes, Manly were in huge trouble. And don't tell me you didn't think so as well.
So what do you reckon happened?
Manly woke up.
The Titans have got this in them.
Yeah.
I sent Steve. I sent both of you guys a message. That was the most inconsistently refereed game of the weekend.
Well, you thought no, that's not what you said. You thought it was embarrassing, and he's the worst referee until he started giving Manly some legs up.
It was seriously that exactly.
Was this Liam Kennedy? Yeah, it was Liam Kennedy.
Yeah. Just that. No, the.
You said he didn't have a feel for the game.
He didn't have feel for the game. There were moments in this game for both teams where he should have just let things go. There was absolutely nothing in it. He's blowing 6 against.
He did. He let a lot of forward passes go.
But then some of them that weren't forward, he pulled back.
Yeah,
like
some turbo-like forward passes. Yes.
Like I just thought. Anyway, it's taking that out of the game. The referee being terrible. What happened after 12 minutes? I have absolutely no idea.
Yeah.
I don't know. There was,
sometimes you just need to warm into the game. Some weeks, I guess. And that often happens.
Was I concerned? Yes, because Cherry Evans looked like he didn't want to be there.
Yeah, he did look very, very disinterested.
And then, and probably it wasn't until the second half that he pulled his socks up, and then he had a blinder of a game. Yeah. Tom made a big difference.
Tom probably had his best game since he's come back.
I know we're going to ride Tommy's hamstrings to this finals now. Tommy Talau was average. It was his probably most average game.
He did a few good things.
He's been really good this year. Luke Brooks was better.
Did you boo Des?
I wasn't there. I'm told the crowd didn't boo. Well, so the thing is, how do you hate Des and Kieran Foran?
Yeah, I know.
Like you ask any Manly fan, and the first thing they'll say is, "Oh, Kieran Foran, why did we let him go?" And I must admit, he worked his backside off for those Titans, and they weren't following him. They weren't engaged with what he was doing. He nearly scored himself 3 times.
Yeah.
He was desperate. So.
Yeah, I thought after the first 10 minutes, the Titans just seemed to fall away. They were the ones who started losing interest.
But we lost possession. We lost the completion rate. We lost the all-run meters. We lost the post-contact meters.
Yep.
We lost the tackle breaks.
Yep.
We lost... Oh, no, we made more in set distance and kick returns. Like, no stat were we ahead, but we won by 30 points.
Yeah.
I think it was Ben Trebojevich's best game I've seen him play.
He's a better centre than he is a second rower.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can tell you that.
There's no doubt. All right. And we rounded the weekend off with North Queensland 20, Bulldogs 18. And if it wasn't for a sin bin...
Oof. This was a good game too.
Mm.
I thought this was a cracker of a game. And he deserved to be sin binned. Steve, See, I'm happy for sin bins for stupid stuff like that.
I hate sin bins. I don't mind sin bins. I just think they're being overused. It's almost like now you do anything, you get sin binned.
The players know and they take advantage. He took
took
advantage and
sin
he was...
bins are supposed to be for professional fouls, and come on, just doing stupid stuff is not a professional foul.
No, that was stupid and deliberate though.
Oh, I don't know.
Anyway, I thought it was a cracker of a game.
It was a good game.
Three tries all, and Matt Burton missed 2 conversions.
And the beauty of this was that it wasn't all one team. I mean, they were swapping leads as the game went on.
Jackson Purdue, whoever he is. What were the commentators saying? Well, he'd never played in the centres. He's a halfback. Well, let me just tell you, he's the biggest and fastest halfback I've ever seen. I thought he was a second rower.
Again, not to beat my team up again, but he played on debut against the Roosters and had a blinder at centres against us that night.
Oh, mate, you should give up on being a halfback and just be a centre. He was great, and defensively he was good too. So yeah, see you later, doggies. Can't believe they lost that one. Well, I can. I picked the Cowboys because yeah, we should just talk about footy tipping while we're here, shouldn't we?
No, not at all.
Okay.
How many have you had this year? Season? 3?
3 what?
3 full rounds.
I've had 3 in the last 4 weeks, and the other week I got 1 wrong.
Okay.
I'm on fire.
Yeah, all right, okay. So our footy tipping competition, Brian is leading.
Are you talking about Supercoach now? Was it you?
He's not doing very good in Supercoach.
Was it you that got 360 points?
Yeah, I changed from Teddy to Turbo last week and got 316 points in Supercoach because I had him as captain. Brian thought about doing it and didn't.
Done it this
and
week.
Lost.
Turbo.
And it wasn't even in my team. I had Teddy and Hopawati.
How'd that work out for you?
30 and 30.
Okay, and then the buys were Cronulla, Parramatta, and St George Illawarra.
Dragons.
Indeed.
So, later, gentlemen,
That's me.
brought to you by Break Free Organics, of course.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. How are you going to shamelessly plug your show,
Yeah,
Steve?
Brennan said, I don't care about being shameless. I have no pride at all. Get on the website and have a look at it.
Look at what he's wearing, of course.
Hey, I've been a supporter for
You wouldn't wear that.
50 years.
You wouldn't wear that in a bed.
He did.
Oh,
Yeah, let's not bring that up because he did and
should
lost.
have made the bet this year.
All right, we've got the
I'm not
Melbourne
that
Storm
stupid.
out on their own, 4 points clear of the Panthers, who are 2 points clear of the Sharks, who are 2 points clear of the Roosters. There's your 4. Seagulls in 5th, but Bulldogs 6th. The Dolphins and the Cowboys round out the top 8. The Dragons, the Raiders, and the Broncos, and the Rabbitohs, and the Knights down to 13th. And then you've got the Warriors, the Titans, the Eels, and the West Tigers making up the bottom 4.
Do you like how the bunnies are screaming up the ladder now?
Just having a look at that though, Tom.
Yes,
Your team and my team have not had our 3 buys yet.
correct.
So you're 28, I'm 27. Yeah, I like that.
Well, the Sharks haven't had their 3rd buy either. Not
Yeah,
the
they
Sharks.
Cows.
The Cows, yeah.
So after next weekend, one of you will have leapfrogged the other
The
one.
other.
Leapt froggered.
Well, it's interesting because theoretically, if we lose and they get their bye the following week, we'll stay where we are.
Yeah, so if you win, you stay above. But if he wins, he goes
if
above
he
you.
wins...
If he wins, he goes above you. You're on 26
Yeah,
and
you're
on
right.
25.
Yeah, you're right. Yep, sorry, the other way around. And then we'll get 2 points the week, 2 weeks after that.
Yeah.
So, yes.
It's the game of the round coming up.
Complicated, isn't it?
What, Parramatta and Storm?
All right.
All right, let's go on to next round, which is round 21. Gentlemen, we are coming to the end of the season.
Steve, don't.
I'm serious. 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. 7 weeks to go.
You can count.
You can't.
So long as I have fingers. I can count so long as I've got fingers.
His South supporters not cutting his teeth.
It's so cruel to me. You wonder why I tolerate them. I do.
had to throw something in.
Warriors and the Tigers at Go Media Stadium. So, State of Origin's over. Now we can just run into the season.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, Go Media.
You have to go with the Warriors, but I think...
With any confidence, though?
Oh, look, I think they're better than the Tigers, but I think the Tigers will be competitive.
This is apparently a sellout.
Apparently, all the games have been sold out so far this year.
Same as Manly games. I can't get tickets and I'm a member. I'm considering going to the Roosters game just because I can get tickets because there's no Roosters supporters.
They just don't want you there. Haven't worked that out yet.
That's I had to have a dig back at you as well.
We've had. I think we've been the fourth highest crowds in the.
No, you just make up numbers. Come on, you've been Roosters have been making up crowd numbers
just
for
like
30
the brown paper
years.
bags. Goodness, will you just give it a rest?
And brown paper
Seriously.
bags.
So
Ask someone independent.
I'm going Warriors.
So just back to the game.
Yes.
The game. If Fogarty was playing, Caesar.
But say
Caesar, yeah, Fogarty. No, if Caesar was playing, I'd probably go the Tigers, but I'm not going to. I'm going to go to the Warriors to redeem themselves, even though there's 3 little Manly junior players running around there in the Fanu brothers, which makes my heart sad. Yeah.
Tom?
Your Warriors.
Yeah, I Warriors for me as
See,
well.
that makes me scared because you two are terrible tippers.
I don't
have a lot. Just give me this.
I want to tip the Tigers. I actually think they can possibly win, but it's at home in New Zealand. I want to think that they're going
one of our people will go to the halves.
No. Well, Fanu's playing. Latu. Fanu's playing halfback, yeah.
Parramatta and the Storm at CommBank Stadium.
Yeah,
Seriously,
this could be ugly.
Jason Rolls is starting to make changes already, and I think it's demoralising a few of
What
the
do you
players.
mean Jason Rolls is starting to make changes?
You read the papers, Brian.
I don't buy into that. I don't buy into the
he's already
papers.
tapped players on the shoulder, trust me.
Yeah, well, yeah, who? Mika Sivo and Matheson.
And a
the
couple
rumours.
of others.
Yeah,
Campbell Gillard.
He'll quickly realise that you can't sack players when they've got a 3-year contract.
Well, there is that. Hasn't stopped anyone before though.
Yeah, but they've got to pay him out unless I don't think Parramatta have got the cattle to do that. This will get ugly, which is why I really hope that the Tigers win.
Why?
Well, if the Storm put a number on them, then Parramatta will be back in spoon position.
Do we think Mitchell Moses will have a blinder?
Mitchell Moses, with his no bicep.
Oh, he's not playing. That's right. He's out. That's right. Forgot he was gone.
Gone.
Yeah, I'm gone. Melbourne. I can't.
Yeah.
I can't go. Tom.
Oh yeah.
And if you look on the Melbourne reserves list, there's a certain C Munster.
Yes.
Why would they play him this game?
Well, you bring him in on the bench and you just play him for the last 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Because let's face it, they're going to be up by plenty.
All right, North Queensland and Cronulla Sharks. Oh, hang on, no, Broncos and Bulldogs.
Should be a very competitive
I
game.
think the Bulldogs can get them. It's got to be a big turnaround from the Broncos.
I think with Adam Reynolds in there, I think they'll do enough at CommBank.
They struggled against the Newcastle Knights. They weren't good against Newcastle with Adam Reynolds.
Putting a lot of points though. That's the beauty. That's the thing with the Broncos. They can score points.
Yeah, they can score points.
Yeah.
So they've got a very good attacking team against a very good defensive team. I think the Broncos can pull it out.
If it wasn't at Suncorp, but it is. Broncos.
And it's a day game, which is interesting because the Broncos typically play Thursday, Friday night.
Yeah.
I'm going Bulldogs.
Really? Broncos at Suncorp, yeah.
Yeah.
Why Bulldogs? I am curious.
because they are so good defensively, and because I think the Broncos are vulnerable, even at Suncorp at the moment. 2 weeks ago they played at Suncorp
Yep.
and beaten by St George at Suncorp.
Yeah, that was without State of Origin players
Well, they're without
and without
yeah.
Adam Reynolds. So that was without Walsh,
Yeah.
without Reynolds, without Haas, without Carrigan, without
and
Cobbo.
the Broncos were the Bulldogs were without Crichton, who really is
Bulldogs?
becoming a
No, they were without them when the Dragons beat them.
Oh,
Crichton-
sorry,
Crichton
yeah,
played
sorry.
against Cowboys.
Ben Hunt, and a few of the others.
Mm.
I'm not impressed on the Broncos at the
No,
moment.
neither am I. Neither am I.
So I'm going Bulldogs. Let's go North Queensland and Cronulla Sharks.
Oh, I can't. Can I just say
No.
there are two teams that I'm struggling to pick: the Cowboys and the Dolphins. I just don't think that they've got the guns, and then they come out and they win. I can't see the Sharks winning this without Kennedy at the back.
No.
But overall, I look at their team and you go Katoa, Ramian, Iro, Ronaldo. They got the best bringbacks
Yeah.
in the wingers and centres. They've got the biggest forwards you've ever seen.
Yeah.
How do they not win? I'm going the Cows.
Apparently I'm going to Cows too.
Me too.
Apparently the Cows have got, I think it was quoted, 6 out of the last 8 games at home.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, isn't it? Plus all their buys late too.
Yeah, I'm going Cows. All right, B1 Roosters and Sea Eagles.
Well, it's obvious
At
which way we're
Allianz.
going. Yeah, look, this should be a really entertaining game. Lisa and I are thinking of going, and if you want to go to, you're welcome to come. But I think it'll be a great game. It'll test the Roosters' mettle because they know they're up against the Seagulls and see what they've got mentally after that pretty awful display.
I think Hopewadi out is actually a bit of a loss. He's been sensational.
Yep.
Hopefully Ben plays just as well as he did last time and wraps up Suwali, and we'll be right.
Wura Hargraves is still out, isn't he?
He's out till 25, around 25.
Yeah, Lenu and Collins are the starting props.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not going to pick a winner here. I'm going to let you two just fight over it. And
Well, it's pretty obvious who we're going to go for. I'm not picking the Sea Eagles, and he's not picking the Roosters. So
Yeah, I think this is the hardest game to pick this weekend too. By the way.
I agree. I agree.
I think it should be a high quality game.
Oh, I'm hoping it's a high quality game with the right result.
Well, that's right. I'm glad to see you being so nice about losing.
Yeah, St George and Panthers. Draggers, Panthers.
Oh, yeah, win Panthers.
Yes, win Panthers.
If it was at Nestra, maybe the Dragons.
Nestra.
Jubilee.
Yeah. Nestrata.
Yeah, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Nestrata.
Cogra. If it was at Cogra, why don't they just call them what they are?
I
It's
don't
Cogra.
Oh, no. No, I'm going Panthers. Dolphins and Titans.
Ooh.
See? What do you do?
Which Titans turn up? That's the point.
No,
Because they could easily put on 40 points.
I don't think it
this
matters.
week.
I think the Dolphins are playing too well. I'm going Dolphins.
One thing I've noticed about the Dolphins is against decent sides, they can come out with a blast and then they'll fall away at the end. They've won some tight ones against the lesser teams, but you saw that with the Panthers the other day. They look like world beaters for 50 minutes and then drop their bundle. And I hope they do that next week. But yeah, look, I think the Dolphins will win.
Yeah. Right.
I initially was on the Titans, but I think I'm going to bounce to the Dolphins.
I agree. And the last one, Sunday night, Raiders and Rabbitohs. At GIO.
Raiders.
Jack Whiten goes back home.
Yeah. It's a tough one to pick, actually.
It is.
How is it tough?
I think the way they're both playing, they're inconsistent enough that it makes it... And the one thing in South's favour is Jack Whiten going home. I hope he has a blinder.
With no confidence, I'm picking the Raiders at home.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. Papali, Tarpany, Hudson Young, Elliot Whitehead, Morgan Smith. They're
Oh, they're a great pack of forwards.
yeah. I think the Raiders.
Okay.
I picked Souths while they've been winning.
Hey, listen, I'm fine for you not to pick the Bunnies. It's okay. I'm going Bunnies. I think we'll get them. I think Souths are desperate enough at the moment to get them. But it depends on how they defend. If they defend like they did against the Tigers, they're no hope. They've got to defend like they were 3 weeks ago.
All right.
And Newcastle have the bye.
Which they desperately need.
Desperately. All right. Anything intelligent you want in the show with Brian?
Tom's nearly back to his best. This week, he will be at his best.
And therefore, do a hammy at 50 minutes.
And therefore, the Roosters will not win because Tom will carry Manly on his mighty hamstrings.
And you know how you changed to Tom in the Super Coach? I think that was a mistake.
Why?
Because the Roosters aren't going to give him the space that he had with the Titans.
They won't be able to stop him.
No, they won't be able to stop him.
Look, their defence was terrible last week. But
I saw how the Roosters played.
He's been whispering to Seabold.
They were dominated up front, and Manly now have we're carrying a forward in the back line the same as the Roosters. It's pretty much even. Tom will have enough space. He will make space.
Tom, you want to say anything to end it?
No, it should be great game next week. Looking forward.
It's not all about you two, you know.
Isn't it?
No.
Well, we're talking about the Rabbitohs.
We were going to lose.
It's painful to be here sometimes. Thank you for watching. This is From the Sidelines with Tom, Brian and Steve. And feel sorry for Steve. And we'll see you all again next week.
I feel sorry for
Bye-bye.
Steve too.
See ya.